welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back here to the channel, guys, to a transfer window roundup. It's been a while here since we've done one of these, but I just thought right now, with the rumours that are going around, in particular with that Dutch feel once again, we are going to be talking today about the future first and foremost of Jean-Claude Todibo and also Rafinha Alcantara, before moving on then to those Dutch rumours surrounding Georginio Wijnaldum and Memphis Depay. It's all coming up in today's video. What's true and what is not? Let's do it. But I do have to start, first of all, by thanking all of you guys who've actually crossed over there onto more TalkFCB. Absolutely incredibly, we're already at 50,000 subscribers. And honestly, guys, that is absolutely mind-blowing for me there on the second channel. I've loved it so far. I've been able there to double upload most days now. And I'm really enjoying bringing you guys as much content as possible. So thank you there for that incredible support. But if we move on now to those transfers, that's what we want to discuss today, starting there with Jean-Claude Todibo, because right now he is back in Barcelona following the end of his loan spell with Schalke in Germany, and he was set there to return to pre-season training until obviously unfortunately Todibo did test positive for COVID-19. But I'm happy to say he's doing absolutely fine. He's recovering. There's no problems there at all. All he's doing right now is just in that self-isolation as a precaution. But in terms of his future, is he going to stay here? Does he have a chance here in the Barça first team? Right now, for me, unfortunately, I would still say that Todibo seems to be heading towards the exit door, because I just think the board, in relentless fashion, have just been trying to find him that new club. They've been waiting now for several months for offers to come in. They've been open many times now to Todibo leaving the club. And Marseille right now are the club who have been linked with a permanent move for Jean-Claude Todibo. Sport their claim, actually, their coach, Andre Villas-Boas, had a very successful season last season at Marseille in Ligue 1. Apparently, he's personally asked the club to go and sign Todibo to strengthen their defence. With Barca, they're looking for still around 25 million euros for his services. Although it should be said, and I do have to make this very clear, that Todibo himself may wait before accepting any offers right now. If the offers come in over the next few days or so, he may say, hang on a minute, I'm just going to wait there until I've had a chance to speak with a new coach, of course, Ronald Koeman. Because now Koeman has come in, he may have different plans, he may have a different outlook on things, and I think Todibo probably would like to speak to him just to see if there's any way at all that he can try to break into Koeman's team. And I think for me, it is strange what's happening with Todibo, because obviously before he went to Schalke, he impressed in that game against Inter, he went to San Siro, he bossed Lukaku, he bossed Lautaro Martinez, a player that we want, and yet we're so happy there, even given our problems in defence, to just cast him aside. It is a strange one, and I do hope that he talks with Koeman just to see if there's any chance. Then, of course, there is the future of Rafinha Alcantara, who is another player there who is back in Barcelona and back now in pre-season training with the club. Although, once again, just like many summers gone by for Rafinha, it's very unlikely that he does remain at the club, even despite his very impressive season out on loan last campaign with Celta Vigo in La Liga. Now, Celta are one of those clubs who are still interested in bringing Rafinha to the club permanently. In that loan deal, they had a 16 million euro buy option, but because of the pandemic and some of the knock-on effects there of what that's brought to clubs, Celta right now, they can't quite pay that. They're not quite in the position to go out and spend that sort of money. So right now, according to the Catalan media, the frontrunner for Rafinha's services appears to be Lazio, which is quite a believable one, because they do happen to be in the market right now for a creative midfielder in order to fill the void left by David Silva, who of course never quite ended up joining them. They fully expected there to sign the Spaniard on a free agent this summer before Real Sociedad came in at the very last moment and hijacked the deal. So they are in the market there for a player like Rafinha. MD claimed there that Lazio are prepared to pay around 12 million euros for Rafinha, which, like I say, that again is short of that 16 million that we were looking for. But with Rafinha now entering the final year of his deal, his contract expires in 2021, we may need to accept a cut price this summer for Rafinha to finally move on. But if we now do cross to those Dutch transfer rumours, we do start, of course, with the reports coming out of the Netherlands, because, of course, we do. I mean, with Ronald Koeman coming in, this is what we expected. It's no surprise at all to see many of his national team players being linked there with a move to the Camp Nou following their coach to his next job. One of those happens to be Liverpool's Gini Wijnaldum, who, according there to Dutch reports, he's a player who Koeman very much admires. He really likes him. He's enjoyed coaching him throughout his time with the Netherlands. And And what does make this deal a little bit more interesting is the fact that Wijnaldum's contract is also, much like Rafinha, entering that final year, with his deal expiring in 2021 and no offer on the table right now from Liverpool. And there is a feeling that Barca could make a move for Wijnaldum if they were serious, if Koeman there really does admire him and the club do want to go down that road. Sky Sports in the UK say that although Wijnaldum is currently happy in Liverpool, he would be interested in joining Koeman at Barca if he's offered there a long-term contract. That's the wording that Sky Sports use, which for a player who's going to turn 30 in November, I don't think we should be going down that road, especially there since Liverpool may only be happy to lose Wijnaldum this summer because they may manage to bring in Thiago. And clearly they're trying to upgrade their team, and we shouldn't be going for any players who are simply being cast aside by their current clubs. That's not Barcelona. That's not what we should be doing. And that's why right now, this particular rumour, even despite the success that Wijnaldum has had at Liverpool, and he has been an excellent player there in Klopp's system, but for me, not really the direction we should be going down. Finally, though, is for me the most interesting transfer rumour of all, and it does surround there Memphis Depay, because surprise, surprise, it is another Dutch international on the list. And this one is interesting because both Rakwan and also Mundo Deportivo claim that Memphis is the forward this summer who's wanted by Ronald Koeman, and he could be the man chosen if Suarez goes out the exit door. He could come in to play that striker role instead of the much more expensive Lautaro Martinez, which is interesting because as soon as Koeman was appointed, this was the name that I was expecting to see. I knew that it wouldn't be long until we started to hear Memphis Depay in connection with Barcelona, and the Catalan media go on to say Depay right now, he's valued at around 55 million euros by Lyon, which seems pricey, no doubt about that. That would be a bit of an expensive deal, but much like Rafinha, much like Wijnaldum, Depay also has just entered the final year of his deal, with his contract also expiring in 2021, which makes all of this very, very interesting. Also add to that the fact that Lyon have failed to qualify for any European football next season after finishing 7th in Ligue 1 last campaign, and for that reason, even despite reaching the Champions League semi-finals, they may be under pressure this summer to sell their star striker, 26-year-old Memphis Depay. Now, Barca believe they may be able to negotiate a good deal if Koeman indeed does want to bring him in. Again, it depends on that genuine interest, but he really did impress under Koeman for the national team. There's no denying that. Depay there scoring 6 goals in 6 games during the Netherlands qualifying campaign, and you've also got to say he was terrific in Ligue 1 right throughout the season for Lyon. He was absolutely brilliant there in that forward role, and he was competing at the very top level, and I mean up there with Neymar and Mbappe in terms of his goal outputs. He was right up there in that league, if it wasn't for that injury, of course, which really did cut his season short. But for that reason, it's also not all rosy. Depay is a good player. He may well be an interesting option, but there are some drawbacks. There are clearly some drawbacks that we have to touch on. Number one, I think every big club in Europe will have watched Depay. They will have seen his numbers. They will have seen the fact that he is a good player in front of goal, but they will be put off by his spell at Manchester United several years ago. The way that turned out, the way they didn't quite handle the pressure, his mentality wasn't quite there. He didn't seem switched on enough to make an impact at the very top level. And although to me, since then, I think he has matured. I think he has certainly taken it upon himself to get the best out of his ability, and he has settled down. But for me, it's still a risky signing. Not just because of that, but for me, it's more about that injury. Back in December, Depay's season, it seemed to be over. He picked up there such a serious injury, an ACL injury there, completely rupturing that anterior cruciate ligament before he made a quite incredible recovery. His dedication coming back from that injury was absolutely incredible, and he did come back in time to play a part in Lyon's run to the semi-finals in the Champions League. But I just think given that injury, given the way that he's come back, and obviously it's not surprising that as of right now, he hasn't shown the level that he did before. He may do in time, but it is a risk. I think signing any player after that big of a problem, unless it was such a good deal for us that we couldn't say no, I think Depay would be risky, although it's a more believable rumour than the Wijnaldum one for me. And so that there, guys, is the update right now on transfers, obviously, over the next few weeks and right up until October. I'll be keeping you right up to date with everything going on in the transfer window. What do you make here today of Todibo, Rafinha? What about their situations? Would you like to see either of those players stay? And then, of course, onto Wijnaldum, onto Depay. What are your thoughts on those? Let me know, of course, in the comments down below. I will see you soon indeed, both here and on more TalkFCB, with more videos. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.